Hello. We're going to talk about education today with one of the persons running for the elected school board today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Well, as promised, I have a dear friend running for the elected school board. It seems like everybody I've had in the past few weeks are running for the elected school board. That's Louis Cross. Louis, welcome.
Thank you, Bernie.
So good to see you.
Pleasure to be here. Good to see you again.
You know, it's so good. You know, let me tell you that Louis is not only running for the elected school board, but Louis is also a member of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. He's a board member, and also a board member of the Wolf Jazz Institute at Harrisville State University. So we're compatriots in many ways,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And his church, called Brilliant Presbyterian, is a big supporter of everything that we do. Louis, I want to thank you for all that.
Well, thank you, Bernie. And it's a pleasure to be on those boards, and we are looking forward to doing great things this year.
That's right. Well, one of the things we're having is on February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, is that tribute to the ladies, to the great ladies, a Valentine's tribute to Aretha Franklin, to Etta James, and to Whitney Houston. And you'll be right there in the audience as usual. And I just want to say thank you for all that. So people who need tickets can always contact you for that.
Yes, you can give me a call.
Louis, tell us about your little history. You're not novice at this. You've been with the school boards and principals and doing things for many years, and now you want to become a member of the elected school board. Tell us about Louis Cross.
Well, attended Cobrian Elementary School and Benton School and Couples School.
So you're native St. Louis?
Native St. Louis and North Sider.
Mm-hmm.
Attended Sumner High School where I ran track. Was offered a scholarship to Clark College in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a college then.
Sure.
Lincoln University undergrad. And I did my graduate work, my master's and my EDS at SIU Eversfield. And then right after that, right after Lincoln, I started in St. Louis Public Schools. I started at Turner Middle School. I was there for almost 10 years as a physical education instructor.
Okay.
Because I was an athlete. I ran track, cross country. So that's how I got into physical education. So then I got involved in counseling, and I was a guidance counselor first at Turner Middle, right after the PE, maybe about eight years. Then I was to counseling at Turner. Then I went on the South Side and I was at Lions School as a guidance counselor. And then from there I went to Local 420. I was a union representative, and later president. And then I became the coordinator for the gifted programs for the desegregation. So I was over Metro, Kennard, all of the gifted programs in the St. Louis public school system from 1986 until 1993.
Wow.
And then that's when I became president of Local 420. I was there for 4 years. I was also vice president of the St. Louis Labor Council. And then after that, I went back into the school district. And I started as a professor at Lindenwood University. And I did that for 18 years, adjunct professor.
Yeah, sure.
So done a lot of different things, Bernie. I've been on a lot of boards, chairman of the Civil Rights Commission for the city of St. Louis, a member of the Civil Rights Commission for 10 years, on the Missouri Corrections for 10 years. I was appointed by Governor Cornahan, where the prisoners are taught a trade so that when they come out, they have something that they can do rather than nothing.
Sure.
So I've done quite a few things, and then
yes, you have.
When I retired, just some workshops and seminars and some grants. And
so you never did really retire.
Never did really retire.
That's just a word, right?
Yeah, just kind of always around education.
Yeah,
and so
sure.
Now I just felt that it was important to run for the elected board with the knowledge and expertise I have in education and academics, I was formerly an instructional coordinator as well. I have my certification as a psychological examiner and testing. So I just felt that with the knowledge base I have, and the fact that years ago when I negotiated a contract with the board, it was a $30.7 million contract, 3 years. I have a working knowledge of budgets and things, so I felt who best to do this than me.
So you'd be right. I mean, you'd be comfortable doing
Exactly.
this, whatever they elect you to do. This is great. Louis, you know, the general public from the news media, major media, think that most inner city kids can't make it. But you're living proof that the education from the inner city, from North St. Louis, you can achieve.
Definitely. We have so many fantastic teachers, and I'll put our early childhood program up against anybody's in the whole state, in the whole country. We have produced thousands and thousands of excellent people, professionals from St. Louis Public Schools. And we continue to do that. Sure. I mean, people know about Metro High School being the #1 high school in the state of Missouri and one of the top schools, high schools in the nation, consistently. I work with Betty Wheeler at Metro High School, and for the time that I was at the desegregation office, and put numerous students into Metro, and I see now that they want to name Kennard Academy, Betty Wheeler Academy.
And that's something.
And I'm really proud of that, and I'll do whatever I can to make that happen. I'm supportive of that because I know how dynamic Betty was.
I see you're Kappa Alpha Psi, right?
No, Bernie. I'm with the #1 fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. Unfortunately, I've been trying to get you to switch, but
is that flower you're wearing in your lapel there?
Yeah, that's purple and gold, and it's just for royalty, and that means #1, and so that's kind of how that goes. Unfortunately, everybody can't be #1 in fraternities,
Yeah, well,
Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Jesse Jackson.
We'll talk about that later. Transparent goals. Candidate Louis Clinton Ross III. Transparent goals: improve student achievement scores, creating a more inclusive environment for administration, staff, and students, increase student workforce readiness programs, and enhance community cooperation and participation. So the election is April the 2nd, right?
Exactly.
Okay, wow, that's right upon us.
Yes.
So tell us about each point you talked about, improve student achievement scores. What does that mean?
Well, we are accredited, but we have a segment of the school district that are not accredited. And they are working towards that goal. And I just want to make sure that we support Dr. Adams and give him everything necessary to make sure that we decrease the number of schools that are not accredited. And whatever we can do to make that happen is very important. One of the things that we find in a lot of the schools is that there are not enough books for all schools. There are not enough computers and tablets. We want to have a functional tablet in every child's hands, and books at every school for every child. And those are some of the things that we have to do, and we want to make sure that budget reflects that so that we can make sure that the kids are learning and have all the tools necessary to learn.
So it's also creating a more inclusive environment for administration, staff, and students.
Right. Sometimes there's a break in the communication between the administration, the teachers, and the community. And so we just want to bring that closer together and make sure that everybody understands that we're here to support your child and the community, and bring the administrators in and make sure that they understand that we're all working together. Nobody's fighting anybody. We're all working together as a team. Just want to enhance that and make sure everybody knows that.
Candidate Louis Clinton Cross III is my guest. And you see the mugs on the table here. This is the mug from Harris-Stowe State University, where we're housed, the National Black Radio Hall of Fame and Wolf Jazz Institute. That's Webster University. I've been an adjunct there for nearly 30 years. But this is the Bernie Hayes Show mug.
Right.
And we're very proud of this. And I'd like for you to have one if possible.
Well, thank you, Bernie. Thank you so much.
Also the Through the Fire, how St. Louis gentrifiers tried to destroy a church because of its homeless congregation. It's written by Reverend Larry Rice, and it shows exactly what happened while we're not at 1411 Locust Street downtown, while we're at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And I could talk about this mug, I could talk about the book, but I'd like to have Reverend Larry Rice express his opinion. Thank you.
For many years, Bernie Hayes has been on the front lines leading the charge for social justice. It's been a great privilege of mine to get to know Bernie personally, and I want us, in celebration of all that Bernie has done, to share with you one of these very special Bernie Hayes mugs and a copy of a book, Through the Fires, which tells you about the battle for social justice at 1411 Locust, where gentrifiers came into the neighborhood and literally shut down the church at the New Life Evangelistic Center at 1411 Locust Street because they didn't want those kind of people in the neighborhood. Direct bigotry. Now, if you'll request this mug and share a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you this book, 328 pages that go into great detail on all the manipulating behind the scenes and on the scenes that took place in order for the city of St. Louis to consider it a nuisance because there were hurting and homeless people in the neighborhood. We would love to see a beloved community, that when development takes place in a community, instead of the poor and the elderly and the homeless being pushed out, it's a beloved community that welcomes people from all over, regardless of their racial background or who they might be. They're people made in the image of God. Bernie Hayes has fought for that for years. And now we're teaming up with Bernie in a very special and powerful way. If you'll just call in R421302, or you can send your special gift and just say, please send me the Bernie Hayes mug. We will include in that Through the Fire, historical book that I've written on how the St. Louis gentrifiers tried to destroy a church because of its homeless congregation. You know, there's a common saying that if your neighbor's house on fire, yours in danger also. The bigotry, the hypocrisy in the city of St. Louis affects all of us. I thank God for Bernie, who has continued to point it out and root it out. Now we're teaming up with Bernie. When you request the Bernie Hayes mug and share a gift of $25 or more to New Life Evangelistic Center, I'll include my book, Through the Fire. We'd love to hear from you. Share now, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri.
And welcome back. Like I promised you, Reverend Rice would like for you to have this book, Louis Cross.
Thank you so much, Bernie.
My guest is the candidate for the elected school board, and also a member of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. He's a board member, and also the Wolf Jazz Institute. We're housed at Harris Stowe State University. You can see this cup here, and but that book there will tell you all the things that Reverend Larry Rice has gone through downtown.
Well, my thanks to Reverend Rice and to you for the gift, and I definitely will treasure this book, and I'm going to read it this evening.
It's going to be very enlightening. You're going to find out exactly what happened and why they're trying to reopen 1411 Locust Street, downtown St. Louis, Missouri. But the same services that they provided down there, they're still providing here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri.
I see.
Louis Cross, there's another point on your campaign poster here. It says increased student workforce readiness programs. Well, what does that mean?
Well, a lot of our kids, when they finish high school, they don't know what to do, and then they're kind of misled in some respects. Some of these for-profit programs charge exorbitant fees and promise our kids that they're going to have a job once they spend $40,000, $50,000 in this program that's only going to run for so many weeks or so many months. I think that the expansion of the career readiness programs in the district would be beneficial to our kids, and it would be cost saving to them as well. They don't have to spend thousands of dollars. The junior colleges have the same culinary arts programs that you go to culinary for, and it's very cheap, and it prepares our kids. And just want to improve those jobs for kids after they finish high school.
Okay, and also another point you have here says enhance community cooperation and participation. That means what?
Well, I want to get out there and make sure that the public knows that we're there to support their children in improving their education, and not only through school, but after school. We're going to track them and make sure that they're successful. And that's a cooperative with the community. That's the main thing that we want to do.
How can they reach you?
You can reach me at, my email is w5977@aol.com. And the phone number is
300-9948. Area 314-300-9948.
exactly.
I kind of memorized that.
Right.
That's
Right. Thank you, Bernie. Thank
You're more than welcome.
Right.
April the 2nd, 2019.
Right.
So it's not too late to register to vote in that election.
No, it's not. And in fact, you can email me or call me. I have absentee ballots for folks who are going to be out of town. And we can I also have the cards. If you want to register, you can do that as well.
Since we don't have your email address on the screen, once again, give us a phone number so they can call you, and you give them the email, the website.
The phone number again is
314. Yeah, 314-300-9948.
9948.
This is wonderful. Louis, why did you want to become an educator? I mean, what inspired you? Was it the family?
Well, yes. My mom and my dad and my family, they're very supportive, and they pushed education. But when I was at Sumner High School, I think that's when I first realized that I wanted to do something to give back for what Sumner High School and the St. Louis Public Schools did for me. Prepared me educationally. And so I thought that the best way to do that was to teach. Now, I had uncles, and I have a cousin, and I have several cousins that are physicians, and that was my dream, to become a doctor. But somewhere in the process, I ended up in education, and I'm very happy that I chose that path.
Well, I'm sure they're very proud of you too, because I mean, so many achievements that you've accrued. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, and so by becoming a member of the elected school board, you think you can make improvements?
Definitely.
Tell us about it.
Definitely. Dr. Adams is a master at budgets. Keeps tight reins.
Superintendent Adams.
Superintendent, yes, Dr. Adams. Keep tight reins on that money. And just want to work with him to make sure that all of the schools in the district are getting the proper amount of income, monies, to make those programs shine and improve. And like I said, the schools that are not doing well, we want to give them extra juice, to give them whatever they need so that they can come on the other side with the schools that have done all of the things that they're supposed to and continue to do those things.
Does the superintendent listen to the elected board? I know there's the appointed board, and you'll be the elected school board. You know, an elected official, and yet and still they don't treat you properly, in my opinion. You know,
well,
you're elected.
I've known Dr. Adams since he came here years ago. And Dr.
From Nolans.
Yeah, from Nolans. And Dr. Adams listens to everything.
That's great.
Very intelligent young man. And I know that he has a dialogue with everybody that impacts on improving education. And so I don't think that he doesn't listen, but we want to make sure, because hopefully the elected board will come back on pretty soon, the new fiscal year, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what everybody's thinking.
Right, we're hoping so. And whenever we do come back on, we want to hit the ground running and just improve this process, because we are accredited and we want to continue that process. You know,
my last 10 shows, out of the last 10 shows, 4 people have been running for the elected school board, you know? It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that tells you that everybody knows that maybe the elected board will be back in power. I mean, the Constitution says once you run for an office, that you're in the office and you do the duties of that office, but in this particular instance...
Constitutionally.
You know, but in this instance, the judge overruled and said that we're going to have a SAB board, to
special appointed board,
because we had lost accreditation. And so now that Sullivan and Gaines and Clean Scale have done that, then I think they feel that it's time to turn it back over to the elected board. And we'll work cooperatively with them and to see that happens.
Once again, when is the election?
April 2nd.
2019, and it's not too late to registered to vote?
No.
Okay, I see your email here, w5977@aol.com.
Exactly.
Okay, w5977@aol.com. So they can reach you there, and also
Yes.
at the telephone number we're talking
yes.
about. Now, this is great. Louis, I hope you don't call me Louis Cross. You know, I know him so well, people that I call him by his first name, Louis. And we have a little thing going with socks, too. We'll talk about that perhaps some other time.
Right.
But everyone knows you. It seems like everybody I talk to, they know Louis Cross. And when they find out that you're, even Percy Green endorsed you, you know, he wants you to be a part of the elected school board. And I want to come back and talk about that and all the other endorsements that you have and people who really know Louis Cross and want to see you achieve more than you've already achieved. It was almost impossible to achieve, Wiz. You've done so much. Our location, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. We were at 1411 Locust Street in downtown St. Louis, Missouri. But Reverend Rice is not giving up. The people down there, you know, they're still working to reopen the facility. And the way that it was closed, it's all in this book here, the reason it was closed. It was gentrified, and it was just, it was wrong. It was wrong. But if you get this book by Reverend Ray Rice, Through the Fire, How St. Louis Gentrifiers Tried to Destroy a Church because of its homeless congregation, and you know the critical issues homeless are going through right now, I think you'll be enlightened. But we're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, and we need your help and support. We need water, we need clothing, we need funds, tax-deductible funds, a tax-deductible investment. And you may help us through Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166, or online at www.New Life Evangelistic Center. That's one word, New Life Evangelistic Center.org. American Express, Visa, Discover Card, you know, MasterCard, takes less than 2 minutes. And it is an investment, and it is tax deductible. Back with Louis Cross after this.
Think about it for a moment. Hundreds of people are spending night after night trying to survive, some are even freezing and dying, out on the streets of downtown St. Louis as this 5-story building remains closed up. It's closed up because of the bigotry of a few that don't want the homeless in the neighborhood. Now New Life Evangelistic Center is working to get back into 1411 Locust, and it's possible because of each one of you that are praying at this time and sharing your much-needed tax-deductible gift. I thank God for the Bernie Hayes Show and each one of you that are doing your part. As you share your gift of $10 or more, be sure you request a copy of Through the Fire. It goes into great detail of how the rich and powerful shut down 1411 Locust, but yet the staff of New Life Evangelistic Center are out on the streets and how we're working to get back into that particular facility. And it's your prayers and gifts that make all that possible. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. And as you share your gift, be sure you request your copy of Through the Fire.
We'll return to our guests after this Black History Moment. Today's subject, Harry Belafonte, American singer, actor, producer, and activist who was a key figure in the folk music scene in the 1950s, especially known for popularizing the Caribbean folk songs known as calypso. He was also involved in various social issues, notably the civil rights movement. Belafonte took a break from acting to focus on other interests. In the 1960s, he became the African-American television producer, and over the course of his career, he served in that capacity on several productions. During that time, Belafonte continued to record, and his notable albums including Swing That Hammer, for which he received a Grammy Award for Best Performance. Throughout his career, Belafonte was involved in various causes. He is a supporter of the civil rights movement and a close friend to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was active in African-American humanitarian efforts, notably appearing on the charity song, We Are the World. Harry Belafonte.
2 Timothy 1, verse 10.
But it has now been revealed through the appearing of our Savior, Jesus Christ, who has destroyed death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
John 11, verses 25 and 26.
I am the resurrection and the life.
He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die.
Hello, I'm Larry Rice, and I'm inviting you to join me daily on the New Life Facebook page. Something new, something exciting every day. So go to facebook.com/NewLifeSTL and discover what's happening on a daily basis as New Life Evangelistic Center begins to share with you a wide variety of subjects. I look forward to visiting you on the Facebook page. Remember, there's so much just waiting for you at that particular page.
Hey, welcome back. My guest is Louis Clinton Cross III, candidate for the elected school board, City of St. Louis, and also a board member of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame and the Wolf Jazz Institute. I understand this is a Valentine's Day tribute coming. Aretha Franklin, Monty Williams will be tribute to her. Marcia Evans will pay tribute to Etta James, and Cheryl Brown will pay tribute to Whitney Houston, and also Davy Dave and Dr. Nees. And there's candy and roses for all the ladies who attend. That's February the 14th. That's actually Valentine's Day night. And if you want to see Louis Cross, you see him there because he is a member of the board of the Black Radio Hall of Fame, National Black Radio Hall of Fame, and also the Wolf Jazz Institute at Harris Stowe State University. But in the meantime, we're talking about your election, your candidacy for the elected school board for the City of St. Louis.
Yes.
Now, once again, for those who may have tuned in late, Louis Cross, what's your inspiration? Why do you want to be a board member?
Well, I want to improve the system.
Okay.
And the best way to do that is to be on the elected board. We're thinking that the governor is going to make a change and give the elected board the power.
Reinstatement coming.
And when that comes, we need the people with the expertise and the knowledge to move forward and to continue the great history of the St. Louis Public Schools and the academics and the performance, bring it up to the level that is not going to be questioned at all by anyone, and have all of our schools accredited in the district. And I think that I'm the person that can help do that.
Good. Anything that you want to talk about that I haven't asked you about in this election?
Well, just want to make sure everybody gets out and votes. And if you're not registered to vote, give us a call. We have a team, and we're going to get you absentee ballots, or you can register to vote. If you need transportation to the polls, we're going to provide that. And that's mainly the most important thing. We want to get everybody out there so that you can have a voice and say in what happens in the St. Louis Public Schools.
This is wonderful. 314-300-9948, right?
Exactly.
That's great, Louis.
Exactly.
Your history with, like I was saying before we went to the other break, everyone in the St. Louis school district know Louis Clinton Cross. I don't know if they have to call you that, Louis Clinton Cross III, but they know Louis Cross.
Right.
And you've done so many things with the union. You've done so many things with the school. You've done principal. You're adjunct professor at Fonpon, is it? Mm-hmm. What's your adjunct professor at what school?
At Lindenwood University.
Lindenwood
18
University.
years.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so
still on the staff there. We moved down to the old post office.
Okay.
But haven't had a class in maybe over a year.
Okay.
But we're still on staff. In fact, we established the Lindenwood University in the St. Louis Public Schools for 15 years.
Okay.
Me and Dr. Janice Wiley, we established it at Lowell School and later moved to Mann School.
Okay. So April the 2nd is the date that you get out and vote for Louis Clinton Cross III. Exactly. So how will you be appear on the ballot? Just Louis Clinton Cross III on the ballot?
Louis Clinton Cross III on the ballot. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. And I'm the third person on the ballot.
Okay.
Number 3.
Louis, I just want to say thank you for taking time to come by and visit with us here at New Life Evangelistic Center. And don't forget now, it's not too late to register for the April 2nd school board election. And we want to thank everyone who is visiting us, and we want to thank all of you who invest in the New Life Evangelistic Center for so many years. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and pray and hope that you'll continue to support Reverend Larry Rice and the other pastors and ministers and administrators here at New Life. I'm Bernie Hayes. I want to say thank you so much for viewing us and continue to support NLEC TV. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day.